I'm just gonna slam combat. Hit, and hit. Down to 68 seems good to me. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we have a really cool list, and it still centers around Simulacrum Synthesizer, which we'll bring up and talk about in a minute. This deck got a lot of inspiration from LegenVD, an absolute hero. I saw this deck list yesterday, or what was of the deck list yesterday, and it actually looked very good and competitive, at least in best of one. A lot of the lists that I've seen have been like needing to be on the play, hope to play the synthesizer on turn 3 and hope they don't die, instead of this one being a little bit more interactive, a little bit guaranteeing that we're getting that synthesizer with an impact card after that. I did make a couple of changes to his variation of the list, and I'll kind of go over them here. And one of the main changes is I got these voltage surges in the deck over these sirens and trimmed down on one of these, and a lava spur boots as well. But the surge, I think, works incredibly well in this deck. We're making a lot of artifacts, so we have a lot of free sacrifices that we can use for this card. As additional costs, you may sacrifice an artifact. Deal 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If this spell's additional cost was paid, we deal 4 damage anyway. But other than that, we have Legion's Extruder being a 2 of. Not going overboard on this because the 2 damage does miss a lot, but it is any target. So if our opponent's like on a Liliana, makes a sack a creature, say like our Mechanaut right here, we can use this in order to answer that Liliana after. But the main card in focus around the deck, if you do not know it, is Simulacrum Synthesizer. Enters the battlefield, we scry to. Pretty relevant. It's pretty good just to be attached to this card, so you do get that enter the battlefield value on just the card itself. But when another artifact enters the battlefield with mana value 3 or greater, we make a construct. That construct gets a 1/1 for each artifact we control, and lo and behold, we play a ton of them, and it works pretty well and incredibly well with 2 cards in our deck, being Brass Knuckles, which whenever we cast this, it is a 4 mana card. When we cast it, it makes a copy of itself. These both enter, making 2 constructs onto synthesizers, so getting them very big very quickly. And then we also have Battalion, which is kind of the main 1-2 punch with the deck, and the fact that most of the time we'll be using the 5 mana side on the prototype, making 3 5 mana 2/2s, which synthesizer will see 3 different artifacts enter the battlefield, all at 5 mana, making 3 constructs, which I think end up typically being around 8/8 in power and toughness, if not a little bit more than that. And that is just an absolutely devastating next turn for our opponent, especially if we're on the play. Most of the time, any board wipe is not necessarily live. I think the only one in theory is like a Brotherhood End works, a Temporary Lockdown works, and a Depopulate works most times. But regardless of that, we do get to make constructs pretty quickly and pretty fast in this deck, with this being pretty much lethal by itself. Outside of that, we're going to go ahead and hop into the games. And if you all enjoy my content, please be sure to subscribe. I truly appreciate it. It helps out the channel a ton, and it helps me know I'm heading the right direction regardless. But other than that, let's go ahead and dive into the games. Yeah, this hand seems about right, you know, first hand of the day, just looking like an absolute banger. Yeah, we're gonna maul. Here's where it's weird, right? My hand's super painful. We do go first. I'm gonna probably put the Battalion back for right now. Go ahead and use the blue off this, because technically I have double blue for this this creature. Attack. Mono black, maybe. Could be Golgari Insidious Roots. Leave on Tom. Okay, Captain. No problem here, Mr. Captain, sir. Play our tap land. Call it a day. Take our 1. Feel really bad about it. Best thing about this creature, by the way, is the fact that it's legendary, doesn't matter. But it's 3. Okay, well, that's pretty good. 1, it's an artifact. Our hand might be cracked. What I'm trying to say is, this is an artifact, so Go for the Throat cannot kill it in this matchup. And it's also a 2/4, which means Cut Down cannot remove it from this matchup. So Shoot the Sheriff has become kind of a splash 1 of. I'm not sure if this gets covered in that. Most likely, I imagine this is gone. I honestly, because they are discard, I should have stacked these a little bit differently. So I would have drew my island first instead of my battalion. There's always a possible chance that they make me shuffle. And I know I left both on top, but I sneakily have 5 mana this turn, whether they realize it or not. And I think that I might stone weak stone. What are the odds I can get to 9 if I don't? So I have 5 mana now, and then I'll have 6, 7. If you're unsure how I have 5 mana, it's because this can tap this for a mana. And we're going to go ahead and do this, I think. I think making 3 constructs here seems pretty good, especially because they are missing land drops here. So something like a Gix command's not viable. And yeah, I think that was a pretty good turn for us. All right. You go first. That's me. I'm you. You are me. Don't get ahead of yourself, chat. I am you. I'm in a really trolling mood today. I don't know if you could tell. The lift at the gym went well. I feel good. One day into work, not midway through the week. Everything's fine. We got a commander event this weekend, which is very cool. So I'm kind of chilling. But here we are. I have a lava spur boots in play. Just sit here and do absolutely nothing. Artifact spells cost 1 less. Honestly, while we have the chance, let's go ahead and just shoot this down here so we get that off the board. I can then play this, and equip the boots to it to protect it for a turn, and then that'll help me cast the Might Stone Weak Stone if I do draw into another land here. But the black is on. Well, there's my answer to my question. I was going to say I think the black's only for this card, but I could be wrong. This cost me 2 mana to do. Again, I'm going to play this first, and then I'm going to equip here. And I think, honestly, I'm not blocking here, so I'm going to attack. The only fear is something like a Monstrous Rage, Double Strike, fling it at me. I guess I can't do all that this turn, but, I mean, I'm going to get hit for a ton, it seems. 7, and then fling it at me? You have another fling here? Let's see. Can you do it? Because if they don't necessarily kill me here, the Might Stone Weak Stone is pretty good. And then I can hold back a blocker. I have a whole lot of life gain in this deck. I think they're deciding whether they go for it or not. The mech is also untargetable here. Yeah, they're going for it. Kind of a sad Monstrous Rage, if I had to say so. A land drop, incredible. We play land. This might just clean everything up here regardless. -5/-5, get that off the battlefield. And here I can attack because I can sack an artifact, making a 3/3. Which is a little bit sneaky with this. I can sacrifice another artifact to make this. And I can sacrifice my Lava Spur boots to do so. We just need this not to be... I mean, I don't know what 2 cards kill me from here. Especially considering they've already used 2 Monstrous Rages. I do feel like they have another one of these in hand. But this is strictly a mono red deck, just playing black for this. And most of the time, the only black they play is like 2 lands or so. Because the idea that they're wanting to do is make a creature massive, hit me for half my life, and then fling it at me. If you've not seen this deck list before. But that is their goal. That is their goal. Honestly, I think I'm just going to go ahead and make my 3/3 now. Should I just be mana efficient about it? Probably not. Why be mana efficient when I can choose not to be, you know? Double blue here. I don't even know if I want to move my boots. But I also don't know what they would have for their mana count to actually remove this mech. So I'm going to go for this. It could double spell it, but if they do that, I'm pumped about it. But I would like to kind of cycle some of this stuff away to try to find a synthesizer or maybe another Might Stone Weak Stone, for example. Let's move to combat. 6 in. Other blue creatures. Guess I didn't have to do that. Discard Xander's Lounge, I believe, is the play. Actually, it might just be the Helm here. My opponent, I think, is just trying the rope at this point, but maybe they have a hard decision. Who knows? Or they're just trying to rope. Now on the 8, my opponent goes. Play Xander's Lounge. In turn. What do we have, opponent? You have a lot of cards. That's a land. Doesn't seem great for you. I'll take my turn. But if they want to slow roll me, I'll play the silly fun party game too. Okay. Cool. That was enough. That was enough to convince them to leave the game. Very sick. Very sick. Opponent goes first. Our hand's like fine. We can always search something on turn 1 if we need to. And if we rip an untapped source, Legion Extruder comes in to Thran Spider. Our curve's looking really good. Just kind of depends whether it's good. Like there's levels to this, you know, chat. There's levels. Storm Carve. I think I go for this now. I don't think I wait because it's only 2 damage, and if I try to cast it in response to something and say they monstrous rage it, I'm getting blown out regardless, so it just feels bad. Let's just take away their creature if they have Ancestral Angers and force them to play a second one. In a situation like this where they have to tap out to play that second one, feels really good. An untapped land here would have probably been devastating for our opponent because then we would have been able to Extruder, shoot this Code Breaker, and now we kind of lost some tempo here. Yeah, there's the monster trait, so Extruder not going to be big enough to get that off the battlefield regardless. I'm probably looking at just lethal next turn. This is 10. I'm at 4. They leave on top. Of course they do. 1 tap land, chat. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Burn spell and I'm dead. I mean, it is what it is. I think it's very obvious that we had actually a pretty good chance to win this game here, but we end up falling just short. I can't imagine there's not a burn spell. If they just show me anything, yeah. I'm good. That is tough. I think that's relaxed arena. I don't know why lightning had to strike on my screen. We go first. We have a Surge. We have Breach. This is a one of some Milestone Weak Stones. I'm not like too upset about my hand here. I'm gonna lead off. Actually, with Surge available, I think I lead off with Spire Bluff Canal just in case I need to answer any turn 1 threat. I mean, my lands all come in untapped, so I might as well play them accordingly. Especially if I top deck more Spire Bluff Canals, I definitely want the option to play all 3 if I rip 3 in a row, for example. Yeah, let's not take the damage if I don't have to. Rakdos. Sure. Ka-chow. It's your boy, Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow. Mirix. Very cool. Let's play our 3/3 that's removable by probably about every removal spell in their hand. Like a Go for the Throat. If not, I can play a Mightstone, Weakstone next turn and draw some cards. Anvil. Uh-oh. That's not good, team. That's not good for us. It's like actually not like that bad. Cast this one. I would like to draw 2 cards. Battalion is pretty cool. I have 5, 6, 7, 8. Just a little bit short. Second Anvil's actually gross. Wait, could I Mightstone Weakstone this into a battalion? A baby one? A little baby battalion, if you would. Or I can do it this way, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm a little short. But if I do it this way... Actually, no, I'm not. Because I can then... Tapis Mirix, my lord. Because then I can do this into this, right? Or did I count my mana fine and I'm just an idiot? Oh, that can only be used for an artifact spell, duh. Or non-creature artifact spell. I think this works. I could be wrong. I could be dumb. Oh, because I have to use 2 blue, duh. Everybody calm down, okay? Get your fingers out of my chat. Relax. Everything's fine. All right, Breach. Do we win this coin flip? Do we get to do it? Whenever you cast sex spell. What? Oh yeah, I forgot that's part of the cost. I was like, sure. And I'm pretty sure it also casts the second one. We don't know. We might be doing cool things here. My brain might be cooking too hard. I'm not entirely sure. I think my opponent's also equally confused. But I think this counts as a cast. No, it's just a copy. Okay. I thought this recast another one, but either way. Hi, dude. Here's 12. Down to 7. Sure. I'll take it. You know? Could have been worse. Am I stupid? Kind of. But, you know, sometimes I forget. It was a one of. I hadn't played with it quite yet, and I fumbled the bag, but it turned out to be super sick. Not as sick as I thought it was going to be, but kind of sick. This is one of those ones where I feel like the hand's too slow, but I'm going to try it. Ooh, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe. Everybody relax. With this showing, I'm not like too afraid of what they put in on turn 2 that I necessarily need to answer it right away. Especially on the fact that like I have no other play outside of turn 3. So I can kind of just chill. See, like I can answer that this turn, right? So it's fine. Everything's fine. Just pop it now. But mono green counters is going to be a little tough. A card I have to worry about is Beseiju. That's also kind of brutal. Do I play Synthesizer into Thran Spider, which weirdly ruins tempo? Or do I die to the board state? Or do I play Thran Spider and play Synthesizer into Synthesizer? I think I just play Synthesizer. And then I play second Synthesizer. Maybe third Synthesizer. I actually have to find a land here. So both those need to go to the bottom. Actually, I guess I don't have to go to Thran Spider, but I'll be a little too slow if I don't, I think. This is one extra. These creatures, weirdly, kind of don't matter. They're good, but like this will outgrow these as long as we don't find a Beseiju by our opponent. So let's play here. I could play second Synthesizer and scry and try to guarantee this land and then play a battalion and then put like an unstoppable force on the battlefield. And I can also equip this boots to like my already kind of small token. So there's a guaranteed land. That goes on top. We put this here to protect us a little bit. It has haste, but now it can trade off with a couple of things here. Vigilant. What can all this supply? Vigilance counter, trample counter. Sure. Again, a little nervous for this turn and this turn only. Things like Nissa get devastating because Forest already counted up to 3. They besage this and pay that, shuffling away my land. But we're kind of cool with that anyway because it's what we wanted regardless. We wanted this land. And then now I'm going to make 6 constructs on my turn. Which, in theory, should be able to defend against a Nissa regardless of what they do. But I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think there's any other play, right? 1, 2, not enough mana. Play here. This will make 2. Then these will enter. Seems pretty good, I would say. I will equip one of these on here. I will attack with this guy. And just... I'm going to just attack with this guy. I know that sounds crazy, but I am terrified in Nissa, to be honest. A Forest plus Nissa, if Nissa could ult, I guess. But also, like, I don't know what they got to get through this. So if I take it one turn slower and make sure all my stuff gets to attack, they have to trade out. They have no option. Yeah, I mean, block. I think this is a concession, by the way. I think they're just like, wow, you really did the thing. I'm just going to slam combat. I'm going to let them get out of the game. They were nice enough not to instant concede. Because they're like, wow, this is crazy. I'm going to get straight to combat, do the thing. Hopefully they didn't slam their phone or break their PC or monitor. And if they need a link to Amazon, I can give it to them. I'm trolling. But either way, we'll come back whenever the alpha strike hits or they time out and concede. Never mind, they came back. Hit, and hit. Down to 68 seems good to me. Going first, and the way this hand's kind of looking, I'm going to just... Ooh, they maul. Do I buy a lot of tempo if this is... Well, I also don't take damage, I guess. And if they turn one Swiss Spear me, like, I don't really care that much, I think. Hey, opponent, please no cut down. Thank you. Very cool. Legends, I hope this card works out great. Don't do it. Either way, if they do it, I still have my synthesizer. It's not like that big of a deal, right? Synthesizer on the stack. Very cool. Brass Knuckles going to be a very sick card in the following turn here. I'm going to put one on bottom just in case they remove my thing. They kind of implied that they were going to. I will attack with it because, like, I feel like I'm ahead here. They mauled. Their removals, like, not got a whole lot of options. Mono black, I can't think of a card off the top of my head that can deal with artifacts that well. That's kind of Golgari's kryptonite. Same with mono black most times. Sure. I think it's hit planeswalkers too, right? Sack a creature. We'll just fire this off. Get this off the battlefield. Submit 0. Could just sack this if I like wanted to, but it just doesn't matter in that like regard. But here we go. Let's play Brass Knuckles. Cast a token. Make a construct. Make a construct. 2 5/5s right away. And if we hit an untap land, we get the Mightstone Weakstone. Maybe draw some cards here. Go for the third, not good. Cut down, not good. Just give double strike. Equipment creature has double strike as long as 2 or more equipment are attached to it. And this is equip 1. Sweet. Here. This one. This one. I would like to attack for lethal. I'm pretty sure. 12. 6. Yeah, that was exactly lethal. So they're forced to block with Skitter. It looks like they're a crime committing deck is like their idea, but they're just going to come up short on that, I believe. Now they have these big creatures. This is priority threat number 1, but then this can also be equipped with both of them. And then Mightstone Weakstone can come in here. Good game, opponent, as we're going to remove this creature unless there's something, of course, that they have. Yep, we'll remove this creature out of the way, hit them for 7 right away, hit them for an additional 14, 15, 16 after that. Because of first double strike here, this will hit for 7, and then the rest will come through. Giving us another win here. Opponent going first doesn't make me feel great, but I'm going to keep this. Not a good time. Synthesizer. How big can we make our constructs? Relatively big. Besage you it, please. Please besage you it. Please. I'm begging. They're too smart, chat. They're too smart. Make a treasure. It's fine. I know what you're doing. Fire Bluff pass. Synthesizer pass. Brass Knuckles make constructs. Hope it's enough. Do I have one more turn? I actually have one more turn, which is weird. Doesn't feel like I have one more turn. I don't really feel like I do. Most likely I feel like this is getting besaged though. Oh wait, I'm just... Is this? Am I really surprised? Because if it is, I feel like this deck There's like a lot of better ways maybe you can make it. Maybe they don't have necessarily the rares and they're playing big score, but I don't think big score is the move in a deck that's already kind of clunky at times. But I could be wrong. I mean, if I'm dead here, like, kudos, I suppose. Sometimes you just lose to the jank variations. You have it. Am I getting slow rolled? Oh, are they just Carnosaur ramp? Huh. Never mind. They're nuts. My bad. Man, that sucks. That feels so bad. That turn went from like fine after they did that to horrible. That was so bad for us. I think I can keep Mightstone Weakstone around. Please don't Brotherhood me again. I didn't like that very much. That sucks so bad. Honestly, I'd rather them just hit anything else. No thanks. This also increases my artifact count, so it's kind of the important part here. Okay, so they are the deck. It's just we just need them to be the deck. All right, so I guess it doesn't matter. Here, sure, make construct -5 on this, so that has to be, and it's not a spell, so they don't get the juicy kind of non-target thing that they were hoping for, most likely. And now we have a lot of constructs, and I think I'm okay to go ahead and attack for 2. I don't think this is going to stop a whole lot when these have trample. Even Calamity here, I don't think gets it done. Obviously, the Discover is really good. Another Brotherhood in is also really good. We're just hoping they don't have that. Right, chat? Right. Armadillo cycle, gain 3, go to 21. Play land. Big score. I'm just kidding. Please don't Brotherhood in me. That's all I'm begging for, because Brotherhood in destroy all artifacts for 3 is enough to send me to the atmosphere, that's for sure. 2 mana here. Play the Mightstone Weakstone. I can play this removing Charming Scoundrel, forcing them to block with their 7/6, even though I feel like they're already kind of forced to block with their 7/6. So I think I just go ahead and attempt to draw here. I don't think they're not forced to block with this, with how big these are. But now I can just also surge this out of the way and call it a good day. Submit 0 on that sacrifice, thank you. Get that gone. Play this. I don't know, this one? Force him to use the removal, maybe? Move to combat. Like this. They're still forced to block here if they don't have removal for this. So I'm kind of just like in this. I just assume they have something. Also, we're short by 1, so it's not necessarily like it's the worst thing in the world, but we are short technically on the amount of damage that we needed. If I would have left this Mirrex open, I would still be short because I wouldn't quite have enough mana to. Well, I could have, but then this no longer has double strike. But either way we get there, I have to feel like that's a Smuggler's Surprise Calamity deck that's just playing big score, but I don't believe that this should probably be in your deck. I think it's a little bit whack, but if you don't have all the cards, I completely understand. Obviously, that changes everything when you don't have all the cards. But if Charming Scoundrel's in here, I think... I don't know. It seems weird. But they also could just be rule big stuff, I guess. I mean, that's also possible, right? Maybe they're not the surprise deck, and it is just what it is. All right. I think a absolute surprise to no one but LegenVD, or yeah, that's right. LegenVD was absolutely cooking when he uploaded Izzet yesterday, and I kind of took a lot of inspiration from it, but I did change quite a few things, some things I didn't necessarily like too much, and kind of help myself out in kind of the long run. There was a creature in the list. It was the Siren. I never necessarily really wanted that. I think having kind of a surge helps us be a little bit better in best of one, especially on the fact that we have a lot of artifacts that we don't necessarily mind sacrificing too often. Sometimes, like the extruder, if we're not looking to make 3/3s or something, we just use the surge, sacrifice it anyway, and hit a little bit higher to hit those 4-drops. But I think having surge helps us in our aggro matchups so much on the fact that it deals 2 or it swings a little bit higher, and Monstrous Race doesn't quite grow the creature out of range because the prowess plus the 1 on it will be exactly 4. So it's very, very nice on the fact that we can still answer that creature. But other than that, we have this card, which actually impressed. It being a 2/2 and staying live ever is an absolute mind-boggling thing to me. But how does it do that? Probably most of the time because it is an artifact. Go for the Throat being a 4 of in your mono black or your Golgari list and those mid-range type lists. Playing the black spells, Go for the Throat is not able to answer this, so they actually have to have one of the either 2 cut downs, which most lists are sitting on, maybe 3 of the cut downs. But either way, it just happens to dodge a lot more than what you kind of think of in your head. And if aggro is using a burn spell on it, most of the time it's also fine. You just lose out on the potential 4 land and then play a Synthesizer into another 3 mana spell, which does suck, and obviously you lose a lot of tempo there. But regardless, that burn's not hitting you in the face, so it's a kind of a win-win. But if they burn you in the face, they probably have extra to spare. Another card I kind of cut and I wanted to play a little bit differently is the Boots. I saw the list have 2, and I understand it because your idea is to make a lot of constructs, make copies of the constructs, which I wanted to play with the Helm. I never played with it before or prior, and I saw a couple of decks playing it, and I was like, you know what? I have Helms. I can try the card. Anytime I saw it, I was already doing either too many broken things I didn't care, or I just didn't have time to play it, or I molded it to the bottom because I was like, I'm not going to make a lot of tokens right now. I might in the future. This card's probably the worst. I need to keep the reactive hand. And it's just how it ended up working out for me. Other than that, a card that I trimmed on because I wanted to play Breaches, and I fumbled the bag on it earlier. I just didn't know how to resolve my spell, apparently. I forgot that I had to sacrifice an artifact, so that's kind of cool. But I did almost get to do the sickest thing. It just doesn't work quite the way we want it to. Because I thought this, whenever you flip a coin, when you learn that copy that spell, I thought it recast that spell. So I was like, oh, dude, if we battalion and it wins, we get 6 battalions. That's not how it works at all. It just copies it and puts another one in, which was still sick, by the way. But the idea, even if that wasn't the case, if I get to put a Synthesizer on the stack, copy it, and put another copy in play on my next turn, I'm going to take that. That's so good. That's so much good value. And we can do it pretty often if our turn 3 is Breach, and then we say cast a Spur Boost or a Prototype or a Surge to remove a thing, or cast something like the Iron Crag that kind of helps replace that mana. So if we play our 4th land, we use 2 on this, it gets us that mana back. Or if we use something like this, where we spend 2 mana, we have 2 mana to spare, which we also still get to cast a Synthesizer. So these are 5 spells in addition to these spells that work with 4 mana in play. And a card that I was entirely shocked with, I saw it in the list and I was like, I didn't even know that existed, was the Brass Knuckles. This, whenever you cast it, makes a copy of itself and they both enter the battlefield. Being equipment, the idea, by the way, of 2 boots, I just kind of connected it, was put 1 boots on one creature, another boots on the other creature, and then equip these separately. But I think with just 3 of these in play, I think that's such a very niche thing that's ever going to happen. I'd rather just equip both of these on the same creature and just swing it kind of thing, instead of kind of drawing an extra dead card like a second Lava Spur Boost. But I could be wrong. It might be nuts. It just kind of how the games went. I never really wanted a second one whenever I put the first one in, it was just a nice turn 1 play that I got to make and move on from there. But outside of that, the deck was, this deck felt like gas. It was so crazy the amount of times I'm like, here's my synthesizer, here's lethal, go ahead. Like, it was absurd because I saw people trying to do the battalion thing before, but it felt so clunky in this early game that it's like, I don't know how you would ever survive to get this in play, let alone get this in play after that. I just never got it. But because also I thought this card was kind of like not that great. Not that the ability's bad or the flying's bad, just the fact that I was like, this dies to everything. And if Go for the Throat's going to be a 4 of main removal staple in our opponent's deck, this card no longer dies to everything. We eliminate their best removal spells for this card, and the thing that they might have been relying on turn 2 to then play a synthesizer and then play something else, and making constructs that grow out of hand way too fast for them to deal with, especially when a battalion comes in later. So either way, I hope you all enjoyed the list. This deck for me ran incredibly hot. I think I ended up 7-2 on the day, which is very, very sweet. But outside of that, I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.